Captain's Log Supplemental. Well, I had to confine Ensign Kowalski to his quarters because he would not stop screaming down the corridor, "Don't say it, don't say it." Oh my God. Apparently he got it in his head somehow that instead of being in the real universe, that we're all part of some kind of complex, very sophisticated holodeck program, and that if someone gives the cutoff code for the holodeck program, it'll end the entire existence as we know it. I don't even know where he got the idea. I don't know where to begin, and he won't stop. So I finally had a couple of our security escort him rather gruffly to his quarters so that he could spend the day. I mean, to imagine that the whole universe would end if I just said computer end pro, and then I'm actually going to cut it in like the middle of that.
Welcome everybody to Captain's Log Supplemental. I'm Chris, and as always, am joined by my friends Rob.
Hello.
And Stanford.
So we're not doing the metronome take?
No. We were also joined by producer Mariah.
Hi there.
For the uninitiated, Captain's Log Supplemental is a Star Trek rewatch podcast. We are cruising through all of the media, well, mostly shows and movies of Star Trek, in chronological order, and by golly, we've made it to the end of the first one.
This is the final summary episode of Enterprise.
It's the final of Enterprise, the first series we have done.
Right, we'll do a recap of the whole show and thoughts and feelings and stuff next week. Some game surprises, etc. But this is the last actual summary episode. Yep.
Yes, indeed. As a reminder, everybody, now that we've reached our first full season, just always want you to rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends, tell all your enemies, as Rob likes to say. Just basically, let people know about us and that we're doing a good job. We're doing good. We're doing good.
Let them know we're doing a good job, even if you don't think we are.
Yeah, no, especially then.
Well, yeah, double.
Yeah, double.
So
how y'all doing?
Yeah, speaking of doing a good job, right? So on Friday, Friday, Jesus Christ, it was yesterday, Tuesday. Liam and I had to get our hair cut, right? And we went out to get our hair cut in the afternoon. And then I hadn't had any coffee yet. So I'm like, hey dude, we're gonna swing by Dunkin' Donuts and get some coffee. And the way that our hair cutter, yeah, that's the term. Barber? The way that our hairdresser kind of geographically is located around us, the best Dunkin' Donuts to go to was the one that happens to be right next to where Rob lives. So
yeah, it is.
We pull up and I'm like, Liam, what do you want? And he always gets the same things: a strawberry frosted donut with sprinkles. That's
the Simpsons classic.
Yeah, his backup plan is the vanilla frosted. After that, he'll just do a glazed or whatever. I was gonna get an apple fritter, and a coffee. And I'm like, you know what? Let's drop off a donut for Uncle Rob, too, because he's right here. I bet he's working. He would like that. So I got him a coffee roll, thinking that's a nice neutral thing. Well, we hit Dunkin' Donuts at 2:45, which was apparently the sweet spot for they're going to give us fucking everything. So she hands me this coffee, and I hand it over. She hands me this bag of donuts. I ordered 3 donuts. I needed 2 hands to lift this fucking bag of donuts. There were so many donuts in there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is heavy. Thank you. And they give you that look. If they don't just outright say, I threw some extra ones in there, they give you that look that's you're gonna have a good moment in a few moments. So Liam opens the bag and he's like, whoa. And I'm like, are there more than just our donuts? He's like, there's 6 donuts in here and a handful of munchkins they just threw into the bag. So I was like, oh, cool. So Liam and I each had a munchkin. We had our donuts. I'm like, well, Rob's got some extras for Aunt Kelsey then. And then, so we go over to Rob's, and I did not know that you had a doorbell, Rob. So, because I've never been up to your door. So I send Liam in with the bag. I'm like, all right, go make sure you knock nice and loud, because, Rob's going to be able to hear you in the other room. Well, he does go and knock. I didn't realize you had a doorbell. And my child is he's a very good boy, but he takes things sometimes a little too literally. Like, dude, you didn't have to knock if there was a doorbell, because he yells back at the car, "There's a doorbell. Can I ring it?" Like, yeah, dude.
I mean, at least he didn't just ring it over and over again. That's a classic thing.
And I also messaged Rob on Discord, like, "Yo, answer your door."
Yeah, I felt bad because like I was on a call and I could hear the doorbell. I was like, "Oh, it's probably just a delivery. I'll just wait." And I did not realize that it was you two until I saw the message in Discord. I was like, oh shit, I gotta go answer this.
No, that's fine. I was worried you'd be on a call or something. So, yep. So, donut delivery. I would have delivered donuts to you too, Chris, but you live too far away.
I love donuts so much. Yeah, my go-to. I like a nice cream filled.
What kind of cream?
Yeah, there's a lot more to that.
Just definitely like a white pastry cream, not like a custard or anything.
Fucking Chris, what did we just become best friends? You're the only other person I know who goes for those.
What? They're so good. It's the best donut.
Around here, they call them angel cream, and like angel cream with chocolate on top is like the greatest donut that's ever been made.
That's nice.
And we have this place called a Yum Yum around here, which is like a local bakery chain, and oh man, their angel creams are so fucking good.
There's this place called Ileana's. Oh, so nice. They do like a round glaze that I usually get with it, which is really nice. Or I'll do like a maple frosting.
Shit, maple is so good, man. That's hard to find around here, weirdly.
Really?
You'd think it'd be easy because maple's not like a tough thing to find here, but like, yeah, you have to go to like some real eclectic donut shops before you start getting maple bars and shit.
We're not in Canada.
We're more in Canada than Missouri is.
That's true. That's a fair point. At least geographically closer.
Oh shit, Chris! I didn't know you also loved having things filled with cream.
Yeah. Yeah. Delicious. All right. Well, on that note, let's get to the episode. This angel cream filled episode of Enterprise.
Are you saying that because there's a lot of white people?
I mean,
there were a lot of white people.
We didn't start the episode with white people though. This is episode 22 of season 4. These are the Voyages. We open up with Hoshi and Travis kind of chit-chatting on the bridge. Hoshi's talking about her plans to kind of go back to Brazil, I guess, to teach stuff again. We find out that Captain Archer is going to be giving a speech for, some unnamed, very important treaty alliance thing that's happening. I wonder why.
Wait, what is he going to be doing?
Making a speech.
Yeah. Like they keep promising it through the whole episode, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then they don't actually show it. Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah. I was not either.
I'm still mad about it.
So, in this one scene, they didn't do it for the rest of the episode, but they had like very weird camera angles. Did either of you notice that?
So, part of the camera angle intent was to show you that the ship has changed slightly.
Okay.
Because
at this point, it's
years.
been several years. Yeah. We find out the Enterprise is going to be going into mothballs after this speech, So that's fun. And look, it's Riker in the holodeck.
Hey, it's Riker. I was like, instantaneously better acting happening right now.
Yeah, he really, he freezes the program and kind of exits. We see him walk out into the Galaxy class starship, hallways, and we cut to intro. Faith of the Heart, the final Faith of the Heart. Thank you, Jeebus. And then our reestablishing shot, we got a nice CG fat ass Enterprise D.
And I know the complaints about this episode. To be fair, this was kind of a wild framing device that they decided to use for this.
It really was. Yeah, it really was. I watched this before, and I remembered Riker being in it, and I remember it being like a holodeck thing. I had totally forgotten the context of why he was going through this program on the holodeck.
I forgot just how much of the episode was about him and not about the Enterprise people. Because I'm like, oh yeah, they were, it was Riker. He was watching some, historical document or whatever. Fine. I didn't realize that, like, they have a full half of the fucking screen time.
Yeah. So we zoom in to where we get into 10 forward, good old 10 forward, where Riker's talking to Troy. Apparently, Troy had recommended that he go through this historical holodeck program because it's supposed to give him some perspective on breaking orders.
Okay. This is a meta question for us as podcasters. Are you not looking up trivia anymore, Chris?
So the place I had been going for the trivia on these just did not have any entries for like most of the last half of this season.
Okay. All right. Because like there's actually interesting trivia about this specific scene. And I was like, oh man, Chris is going to probably pull that up, but I guess fucking not.
So I did notice.
Facts was different.
I did notice that there was a what looked like a Captain Picard shaped head that was walked by. It's like, oh, it's the back of Picard's head.
So this scene actually uses remastered footage from the TNG episode Pegasus.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like how they put them into the Tribbles episode in DS9.
Yeah.
Like this, like the camera pan and stuff, that's all straight out of the TNG episode. And what's actually kind of interesting is when they remastered it, they made it in the 16:9 perspective, whereas TNG was all broadcast in the 6:4 or whatever.
Right.
The 4x6, whatever the old.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of interesting.
Cool. All right. Apparently, yes. Troy had recommended to go through the historical program to help him give perspective on breaking orders. We get this scene followed by a classic Next Generation hall walking scene.
I'm sorry. Just one more thing.
Yeah.
In the middle of that little sentence, I was talking about that interesting fact. My Discord pinged, and it was the CLS channel. So I go over there to find that my wife has, in the middle of my very interesting fact, sent a meme picture of Spock that says, if science were easy, it would be called your mom. So thank you, honey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I navigated and saw that while you were pontificating. So Troy and Riker kind of talking as they're walking through the hallway. Troy recommends he kind of fast forward a little bit to a specific period in the program where a Andorian shows up. I guess, I think we could all guess who the Andorian was going to be. So anyway, Archer gets hailed by Shran.
Did you? Oh, you skipped over the part where Frank's called Reed short.
Oh, so good.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
Because he's like, you just expect larger than life characters to be larger than life. But I'm also like, Reed was on your list of larger than life people. Like,
yeah, yeah. He's a shouty. So we're back on the Enterprise. Archer gets hailed by Shran, who we were informed they thought had been dead for several years now.
I'm like, Shran is alive, but he died off screen before now at some point.
Yeah. 3 years ago. Apparently Shran's child has been kidnapped by some shady figures that he had worked with for some reason that needs no explaining.
Some indescribable, well, they're not indescribable, they're just undescribed former associates. Mm-hmm. They get no character.
Yeah.
Nope.
They were pure plot device. He needs Archer's help to go rescue his daughter. They are apparently Shran says they're demanding what is theirs, which is some thing that once again not important. But he doesn't have what they want. What was that?
Do you know what that thing is?
Is it something that's been said before in it? In Star Trek?
It's just a big chunk of amethyst. That's it.
I thought they had some fancy name for it that was just nonsense.
No, it's just a big chunk of amethyst, and that's why later I'm like, why do we care this much about some huge lab-grown crystal? Like,
right?
You could just make that.
Shut up. That's why. Today. See, that's I was better off not assuming that it was just a big hunk of amethyst, and assuming that there was some more import to it. But no,
this is what someone dies for.
Spoilers. So
Or
apparently,
spoils it anyway.
I'm gonna be honest. He didn't die for this. He died being stupid.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
The bad dudes are apparently on Rigel 10, which they've been to before. T'Pol chats with Archer, kind of to discuss Shran and this mission, and she's like, "It's not a good idea." And Archer's like, "Shran's my homie, though. I gotta help him."
There's a level of like, is this ceremony speech thing that fucking important? Because like,
Yeah,
can't Archer be? I don't know. T'Pol's acted like the entire fate of the fucking universe is dependent on Archer getting back to Earth in time for this speech. Whereas it's just like, he's gonna give a fucking speech. Who gives a shit? Like, it's not like he matters. Like, Shran's daughter is in danger.
he matters. That's why Reed had to. Never mind.
My favorite part of the scene is Archer just throwing away any sense of, like, I don't know, professionalism by bouncing a freaking water polo ball off the wall while discussing this very serious matter.
That makes him personable and relatable, Rob. Jesus.
Yeah, so he draws comparisons between, his distrust of Vulcans and distrusting Andorians, which is, whatever. She says she'll try to trust him. Meanwhile, Riker's creeping in the background, which is just...
Yes.
just
He's just
he
kind
likes
of
to
there.
watch.
He's kind of there. And with that Riker smile.
Mm-hmm.
We get one last goodest boy of Starfleet.
He's going to eat so much cheese.
So much, 3 different kinds of cheese.
6.
Yeah, it was 6. It was a lot of
Was it
cheese.
6? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Porthos is still alive.
He's going out with a bang. I mean, it might be projectile diarrhea out of his ass. But
Diarrhea? No, cheese, my friend. He's gonna explode in constipation.
So we then go to a scene with Riker as Chef, which I think is funny because they never show Chef throughout the entire series, and then he's just Chef.
Well, no, they showed him that one time in Catwalk. You see his legs. Yeah. No, so the whole thing here too, like, cause Certus, Troy, she's like, back then they didn't have counselors on the ships, so everyone confided in the chef, and like, that's a lot of character to bestow upon just a non-existent person, like all at once. And then suddenly, like, Riker takes the position of the chef, and that's exactly what happens. Everyone's just in the kitchen making food with him and chatting, which, like, individually the scenes were fine. They were actually quite delightful in many, many ways.
Yeah.
But they just came out of left fucking field. Like, there's just no indication that anyone's got this relationship with Chef whatsoever.
So, speaking out of left field, T'Pol is talking to quote unquote Chef.
Also, T'Pol is a confider.
Yeah, he talks with T'Pol. She says she doesn't, miss Trip. It's been over 6 years, and T'Pol mentions, following your instincts about making decisions because, Riker asks her a couple questions. Which he loves, apparently, that follow your instincts, because he freezes the program.
Oh my god, my next note is all in caps.
And kisses T'Pol's face.
He like kisses her like still lifeless
her temple?
Temple. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
It was weird.
So weird. I have no idea where that came from.
Why did we put that in? Why?
That was so fucking bizarre. And very uncomfortable.
He's getting tips from Geordi.
Can't wait till we get to the Geordi as an incel.
Incel Geordi.
Incel Geordi episode. Anyway, back on the old Enterprise D, Riker is going through the crew manifests of the Pegasus, which those who have watched Next Generation would remember that it was a ship that Riker served on before, serving under a captain. That was the one that had the illegal cloaking device that was being tested and went all fucky.
Well, yeah, because instead of a regular cloak, it was like some kind of weird phasing cloak, so they could like go through shit. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, so
actually, a pretty good episode.
It was a good episode, and I had forgotten that this this whole thing took place like
literally in the middle of
within
that episode. One of the commercial breaks of that episode. Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, 71 died on the Pegasus, all but 9. Troy asks Riker if he's feeling guilty about it. He doesn't say and changes the subject. And he updates her on the progress through the historical holodeck program. He then invites her to join him on the holodeck.
So, first of all, she's like, I never ran the program, but she knows an awful lot of fuck about it.
She really does.
Second of all, what is the narrative or visual, like, what is the point of this little tour he gives her?
Funsies.
Okay, just making sure that it is in fact just a waste of fucking screen time.
Yeah. So anyway, Riker and Troy make fun of Archer's tiny office. They say, "How couldn't he have fish?" Which is just a terrible kind of inside nod to Picard's fish.
There were a lot of dumb jokes in this episode. That was one of them.
Yeah. They discuss the Shran mission. Oh wait, no, sorry, I skipped. They tour the ship, make their way. Oh yeah, they make their way to Trip and Reed, who are discussing the Shran mission. Trip gets all like wistful about the ship with Reed. All good things. I kind of like this scene actually. I think this is a nice. It
was good right up until Riker and Troy started talking about them.
Yeah, there's like, oh man, sucks. He's gonna die.
yeah. So like, Trip's like, yeah, well, don't worry, Reed. We'll go on to a new ship and it'll be all right. But like, man,
Riker's
I'm just gonna miss him. And Riker's like, wow. And then Troy, I think, is the one who's like, he didn't know he was gonna fucking die. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Troy is now speaking in Trip's accent.
Yeah, I got excited. I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
The problem is that, like, Sirtis's accent is so fucking wild. I can't do it. It's like this weird British accent she's got.
Yeah, my note for this was, I like this scene, ... until Troy spoils it with Trip's imminent death. So we get to Archer, who's going over the extraction plan with Shran. They plan to give them, like, a fake amethyst, I guess. Troy has the hots for Archer. Says he's cute. And then departs from the holodeck. It's just Riker now, creeping on the Enterprise crew. And then we kind of get a little time jump here where they get to the point of the mission.
Oh yeah, the 16th. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, the snowy. I didn't remember what Rigel 10 was, so when they went to they had the exterior like establishing shot. I was like, oh, that place. Yeah. The snowy trade station place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Trip tries to convince Archer to stay behind from the mission. Rigel was the first planet they visited, so it'll bookend the lifetime of the Enterprise NX-01. We cut to the shuttle pod kind of going on to the landing. Riker is creeping in the background as a Mako this time. Paul talks to Reed about missing each other. He admits, to missing her sometimes. While Trip says he guarantees he's not going to lose touch with her.
I cannot tell if these two expect this conversation to be private or not, but because it seems like a very private conversation, but the shuttle pod's the size of like a couple of phone booths with some benches in it, so there's no way that everyone in there is not listening to this. They're doing that awkward, cameras, like trying to stare out the window thing, so they don't look like they're listening.
Well, they noticed the very tight camera shots on them, so they gave them some privacy.
Absolutely.
T'Pol and Shran go and meet face to face the bad dudes. We get to see Shran's very cute Andorian child. She's adorable.
She's very adorable.
And they make the swap. They trade the totally useful, not a regular amethyst thing for the child.
Just like regular kids, too. The fucking Andorian, just like human kids, all the Andorian kid gives a shit about are like snack time.
Yeah.
Kids like, look, I know I got kidnapped and stuff, but Dad, I'm just fucking hungry. Do we get the cheese sticks and juice boxes, whatever you got over there?
Yep. Shran has to stay with the criminals for some reason after making the trade. But it's a good thing that Crystal is actually a flash grenade.
Yeah, it's a flash grenade from like the 1950s. What was that flashy effect?
It was a strobe light. It was a disco ball.
Yeah, it was an epilepsy test.
It looked like
Did you fail?
No.
It looked like they just kind of flashed this film to negative a couple of times, like they used to do back when things were like all wild and wacky in the 50s and 60s. Like it looked terrible. It was a terrible effect.
Yeah, so a firefight ensues, lots of pew-pews. By the way, I will note, ceiling troops clearly
Still
have
worked.
the better
Yeah.
tactical
worked.
position.
I like
Still
how
works.
I like how Jonathan, or I guess Riker. I like how Riker is just doing like the fun shooting gallery mini game in the middle of the Hollow novel here.
Yep. The catwalk that they're on gets kind of like hit by fire, and so Trip almost falls to his death. The nice little kind of like teaser, like, oh, this is how we're gonna kill him.
We're just gonna die. Oh no, I didn't die here. We'll have to
Just
wait till
kidding.
later.
Just kidding. Archer
It's
pulls
like
him
the
back up,
beginning
and
of
he's fine.
Ghost Dad. Yeah.
Yeah. We cut back to Enterprise. Shran celebrates their victory. His daughter calls Archer a pigskin. Everybody's
Yeah.
having a good
I
time.
was like, oh, good. The girl is
Yeah.
also mildly racist.
Yeah. Back on the Enterprise D, we get a little data voice, a little tidbit where he's talking to Troy, and they have a silly exchange about rain and rain checks and whatnot.
There's a goofy ass Spiner cameo in the middle of the other cameo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy just avoiding her duties, you know.
So my note here says Riker enters Troy's quarters.
Oh my gosh. What?
It was just a very unfortunate,
the sexual tension between these two is thick.
just a very unfortunate line break. So Riker entered Troy's quarters. He mentions it's not long before they're going to get to the Pegasus, and he has to make his decision.
This is where my note is. I'm so glad we're spending time talking about a plotline from years ago from a different show.
Yeah, he reveals to her the news about how all the illegal bad shit they did on the Pegasus and its implications. She says she's confident he'll make the right decision. Thanks, Troy. Very helpful. Riker, as chef again, is this time talking to Reed, who didn't think Trip would last a month when he started.
Which, like, what?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Thanks, Reed. We get a little fun cut here where he's kind of jumping between interviewing different people as chef because he does
any doubt the objectively best set of scenes in this whole episode were these cuts between cool. Frakes was doing a good job as chef. Mm-hmm. Very warm and fatherly in a way that's hard to describe unless you see it.
Yeah.
Like when Travis was doing something wrong and he's like, no, do it this way. And Travis is like, I'm sorry. And Frakes is like, don't apologize. Like it's like, you're not a chef. What the fuck do you know? Like, it's okay. I'm just telling you what to do. Like, it was a good set of scenes.
Yes, it was good. I particularly liked between when Reed's kind of part ended and then Hoshi started. Yeah. He asks, before we know it's going to be doing this cut thing, he asks if they ever found themselves attracted to Trip. And I'm like, all right, you know what's happening here. Everybody's shipping Trip and Reed. But no, it was a question directed at Hoshi.
I was actually a little disappointed that it was Hoshi. I was like, yeah, do it, show, do it.
But yeah, that was fun. Hoshi says, well, maybe a little bit, but he's not really her type. But he's kind of cute, I guess.
So how used was the dough by the end of these takes, do you think? Because they were all doing stuff with the same set of dough. Because I like it's movie dough, right? I don't even know if it was real. Although it might have been real.
It's probably just like Play-Doh.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah.
But yeah, so next up is Travis. Asks if Tucker ever took a swing at Archer. He says not that he knows of. He always ends up doing the right thing or whatever. We then end with Phlox, who we get, a wee bit of discussion about private medical information of other shipmates.
Yep.
What?
I know, Phlox classic. But yeah, this is a very fun scene.
It was. Now I will say, it was a good scene. It was well set up, nicely done. It was kind of out of nowhere though, because they're doing a lot of talking about Trip, where we're not concentrating on Trip. We know he's gonna die, but that's it. So far, it's been fairly evenly it's been talking about Archer, it's been talking about these other people, but now it's just like Trip, and it's kind of odd.
I get what you're saying. I didn't feel that way, but maybe it's because I know where the episode was going.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that helps.
Yeah. So we then get to a scene where Trip and Archer are discussing the upcoming, alliance and the whatever. They drink some whiskey that apparently Cochrane gave to Archer's father. And then they're interrupted by the ship rocking. We find out they're under attack by a small vessel.
Oh, you didn't mention what their toast was.
Oh, I forget what it was. What was it?
Here's to the next generation.
Oh God.
Yep.
God.
I totally glazed over that. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, totally did not even hear it. Wow, that's real bad. So yeah, there's an intruder alert, and Trip and Archer rush to go to the bridge, I guess, or whatever, and they're somehow immediately ambushed by the very generic bad guys. There's some discussion about finding things, and then Trip says he'll help them.
The most convoluted fucking shit conversation this show has ever had, which is real impressive.
Right, they'll help them find Tran if they don't kill Archer. It's a very rushed,
really
they're trying
rushed.
to make.
Especially because like this isn't even the scariest thing they've had to deal with in the last 4 or 5 episodes, and yet Tucker's gonna be like, I know what to do. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. This is great. What the fuck?
Spoilers.
Sorry, I'm just annoyed. This whole scene was stupid.
I agree, and this is the main problem that everybody has with this episode, is because it's so out of nowhere and pointless.
I don't agree. I don't agree that this is the main problem, but this is definitely one of the big ones.
I think it is the main.
I have a question about what I've been seeing as the main problem with this, but we'll get to it at the end.
Okay. So yeah, Trip says he's going to take him to this comm station so he can radio something, or it doesn't even fucking matter. Anyway, he rigs something and it explodes. Bye, Trip. His character's dead. Well, not quite dead, but almost dead.
But also, why?
Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, he was just so afraid that they would just immediately kill Archer. Okay. Anyway, criminals are dead. So yay for that.
Well, and actually, Trip got hurt from his explosion. There's actually one culprit that did kill him.
What? I don't understand. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's the new safety regulations that slowed down the MRI bench.
Oh yeah, it was super slow.
So yeah, they kind of show Trip, and he has a few last words.
Fucking gnarly ass wound on his chin and neck area.
Yes. However, how, judging by the damage caused by that, I don't know how he's in good of a shape as he is.
Christopher, it thermalized his lungs.
Yeah.
He looked all right for having thermalized lungs. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, the fact that he has thermalized lungs and can say any words is impressive. So yeah, he gasps out some last things that don't really matter, and where's Trip smiles very weirdly as they push him into the turbo MRI.
He winks too, which was
I'm dying now. Wink.
Yeah, I mean, and the wink made me feel funny in my bathing suit areas, but that wasn't the point of the scene. Trip, what are we doing here?
Yep. So it never actually say he's dead. It's just inferred he's dead from here on. As T'Pol is wistfully, discussing things in Trip's quarters, or no, she's going through his things.
She's packing his
getting
stuff.
His trip scent.
Yeah, she's packing his stuff and sniffing his clothes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Archer comes in to talk to her. T'Pol says she like to meet Trip's parents. While the whole time Riker is continuing to creep in the background.
I guess I was under the impression that Tucker's parents were dead from the floridectomy that the planet received, but I guess not.
Yeah.
No, it was just a sister.
Nope, just a sister.
Okay. His whole hometown died or whatever.
No, they're fine. They were in Boca. They were way off. Where was I? Oh yeah, she talks about how Trip said after time she would miss her less, which I assume is the baby. I don't know who the her was she was talking about missing less in this scene. Do you know?
Yeah, it must have been the baby.
Okay, I assume that. I mean, the only other her I could think of was her mom, but The baby was more recent, so I assume it was
I missed
to the
that
baby.
line entirely. Huh.
Yep, and then we get, like, I guess, a rewind in time as Trip goes to see Chef Riker.
Yeah.
I want to point out, too, that, like, Riker keeps saying plomic broth very weirdly. Like, he says it, like, 3 times, and it's like, plomique.
It's plomique. It's plomique broth, yes. That's how I believe it is supposed to be pronounced.
It sounded like he added, like, 4 extra E's into it.
Although this might be a good time to notice that the audio engineering on this episode was fucking all over the place because, like, you can tell when their voices are no longer like being picked up by the mics in the scene, but are like voiced over later and stuff.
Yeah,
it just wasn't well done. It wasn't well trained. Like in the middle of a conversation, like one line will be and then another one won't. Like from the same character because they had to redo something or whatever. It sounds terrible. It really sounds unprofessional.
Yeah. So Trip grabs a carrot to snack on while he talks to Riker, and talks about, you know, his high level of trust in Archer. You know, Riker says he knows 1 or 2 like that, which is just another, you know, wink towards the Next Generation crew. And then that scene ends with Trip echoing Troy's words about making the right choices as he leaves.
Man, carrots are so fucking good. The scene made me want a carrot so bad.
We then cut to the Enterprise crew sitting in the cheap seats at the signing of the treaty.
Reed being such a little bitch about these seats. Oh my god.
Yeah, they discuss kind of why they're sitting there or whatever. It's fine. Travis, Reed, and Hoshi then talk about what's next for Archer. They say, oh, it's an admiral, or no, he's going to be a captain of a ship. Doesn't matter. We go to kind of the I guess prep room.
Here's the green room. Yeah, it's
the green room. Yeah,
the speech green room.
Yeah. The speech green room. Well, T'Pol fidgets with Archer's uniform. Flock says Archer should be proud of himself. Flock wishes Archer good luck, and they head off.
Even here, T'Pol doesn't get any kind of uniform or like.
Nope.
Not even like
whole time.
Vulcan dress robes or whatever the fuck. Like,
nope.
She wears the same catsuit that she always wears.
Yeah, 10 years on, still wearing the catsuits.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the only thing that changed is her bangs are longer.
Yeah. T'Pol says, you know, she'll remain in the room. She doesn't need to go see him talk, which, I mean, I think that's the correct decision.
Well, so did the writers, because we didn't see him talk at all.
Oh, my God.
And she says, Archer looks very heroic. And she gets a little hug on the way out, which she doesn't seem totally uncomfortable with.
I think that was a fine move.
Yeah. So Archer walks out to applause, but like CG Archer is tiny and walking out to applause. Riker chats with Troy, watching, and says he's ready to talk to Picard. He's done with the program. He got what out of he needed it. And says end program, and then Troy and Riker walk off. And then we get a little ending scene here of the various Enterprises with the boldly go speech cut up from different captains saying it, and that's it. Episode over.
Still better than Cogenitor.
I want all 3 of you to start crying.
It was I remember. All right, well you guys go first. We'll do our rating here.
Well, actually, I have a question first before I give my rating. Okay. So the feedback I've been seeing on the internet about this episode is that people are very upset that the narrative of this episode made it seem like that the Enterprise, the entire Enterprise show and its crew and stuff was all just a holodeck fiction that Riker was watching.
Nothing in the episode says this.
Okay, because I knew that criticism going in. I see it all the time on like Star Trek.
I have seen that before. Yeah.
And I do not I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look for it. And I looked for it, and not a single piece of anything could make me believe that was ever the implication.
No.
I don't know how people got that.
The dialogue between Troy and Riker specifically says he's doing this historical program to learn about the specific thing that Trip disobeyed orders wise.
Right. Like the other thing to remember.
Wait, was that the thing?
Yes, that's why he was in there. Was it a good reason for this whole thing? No.
I thought, because I knew he was supposed to be watching about somebody disobeying orders, but for some reason I just assumed it was Archer going to help Shran was the thing. I didn't think about.
No.
Wait, Trip sacrificing himself was supposed to be the crux of what Riker was doing? Well, that makes the chef scene make a lot more sense now. Wow, this episode was not put together well.
No.
Sorry, hot take. Wow, this was not framed because it didn't. Wow. It shouldn't have fucked around with Shran at all. We should have stayed with Trip the whole time. God damn, these writers are trash.
Well, like I said, the bad guys were the plot device for this. Like, the whole purpose of that Shran storyline was to get the bad guys on the ship so Trip could heroically kill himself.
But the Shran storyline had nothing to do with Trip, so why did we spend so much time with it? We could have just set up the scenario and then run through it, you know?
Because Shran is cool. Shut up.
Well, yeah. All right, fair enough.
All right. So, yeah. Scale of 1 to 5, 0 threshold. Where are we at?
Well, fuck. I was originally at a 2, but I think I might be down to a 1. Because, I don't want to... I'm not going to suck my own dick here on the podcast. It's kind of uncomfortable, and I don't want to hit my head on the microphone. But,
oh, stop.
I'm not stupid. I'm pretty good at catching at least the general plots and concepts of an episode of television. The fact that I missed it is really kind of an indictment on the fucking writing of this episode. Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1. It's just not good. It's not good. It wasn't... I wouldn't be good even if it was an episode of TNG, which it seemed like it was trying to be. But, it's not even that. It's supposed to be an episode of Enterprise. It's just not a well put together narrative.
All right.
I have heard all of the rage online about this episode. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It's still a 2, but it's not nearly as bad as I was expecting. I think that Trip's death was completely unnecessary. Everyone's right about that. There was no reason for that to happen other than some writer thought they were being something. I don't know. But the rest of it, it was fine. I really, really like the scenes with Riker playing chef and talking with the whole crew. We got another creepy Denobulan smile right there at the end.
That dropped at half a point.
The thing that really made me angry was they keep talking about this goddamn the entire episode. And then we get to the very end and you don't hear the speech. At the very end, Troy's even oh yeah, I had to memorize this speech in grade school.
I was like, fuck, I feel like I remember him giving a speech. It's crazy that doesn't happen.
He gives several speeches, not in this episode though. Yeah, so I think I'm more in line with Rob here. I'd watched this episode before and remember not liking it, so I came in with very low expectations, and it was better than I remembered. That's not saying much. But there were, as you kind of said, I think there were definitely some fun scenes in here that brought it up at least a little bit to a 2 for me. But yeah, I totally agree with the point that narrative-wise, it was not tight in any sense of the word. And it just is a little bit all over the place. It was a little too kind of fan servicey in its references and just taking place in an existing Next Generation episode. So yeah, two for me.
IMDb gave it a 0.
What?
Damn.
So this episode's rated so much lower than everything else that this is the episode, which is why I had to call the top and the bottom of everyone's ratings to get an average, because this episode brought IMDb's average down by a full point. Damn. Because of how badly it was rated. The raw rating on IMDb for this one, where is that? IMDb raw, where most of the episodes are in the mid, the highs go into the high 8s, the lows go into the mid 6s. This was a 5.3.
That's pretty bad.
Yep.
All right. When we come back, we'll do a little deep dive on it. Welcome back, everybody. All right. So for today's deep dive, as I had mentioned, the episode ended with a little cut-up of various Final Frontier speeches from a couple different captains. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through the various iterations that kind of Final Frontier speech has gone through.
And how TNG got ruined because of woke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the narrative I was going to push here. So do you know how many different, I'll say scripts there are for this speech?
There's at least 2.
4.
Rob is closer. It is actually 5 total. And it's appeared in actually 7 different type of Star Trek medias. So it is, of course, debuted in the original series, as voiced by Kirk. It states, "Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's 5-year mission."
You're going to need to start again and do it in a Kirk-like pacing.
No.
Nice.
Yes.
Space. The final
Spice.
Shut up. Where was I? It's 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. And this is read by Kirk. Do you know the first time this changed in what Star Trek media?
So I know TNG changed it to its continuing mission and
we'll get
no
there.
one.
We'll get there.
So that's not the first time then? Then it must have been the
first
animated
time.
series.
It was not, actually. It was Wrath
Was it
of
the comic
Khan.
book? Oh.
So in Wrath of Khan, at the end,
Yeah, when you're seeing the pod, there was he gives the speech again. I forgot about that.
so there are actually 3 words changed in this version of Wrath of Khan, and this is read by Spock. It starts with the same space, the final frontier, and that part is kept throughout all of them. And this is actually the first place that continuing voyages is mentioned. It says, "These are the continuing voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission,"
Right.
which has changed from 5-year mission, "to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life forms," is added on there, "and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before." So that changed it up a few words. The next one was TNG, where this is just kind of more modernized, really, for the 90s, or late 80s and 90s that it debuted in. And as you mentioned, its first change is in its continuing mission, to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life, new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. They
Yeah,
degender it.
woke garbage.
Shut the fuck up. This is, of course, being read by Picard.
I'm surprised it was like where no thems have gone before. Fucking.
Oh my god, man.
Shut the fuck
Where
up.
no pronouns have gone before.
Well,
No
oh shit! I almost drowned.
All right. Do you know?
Conservatives are stupid. Go ahead.
Do you know where the next iteration change happened?
Boy, so that's where that was the last one I remembered. So I'm gonna go with no.
Okay, Rob.
Was it Cisco?
It was not, because there is actually no Final Frontier speech in DS9 or Voyager.
Because they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know Voyager didn't have
I just
one.
imagine Cisco making real poignant speeches all the time.
Yeah.
His poignant speeches were more like, "This is fucked up, and you need to stop it." Like that was.
The next one actually happens in the Kelvin universe in 2009 Star Trek. So this is actually it's almost like somebody tried to remember the words and mashed up several versions of them.
It's like if you had asked me before today, what is the famous speech at the end, and I just gave it. It's mostly right, but not quite.
Yeah. And this is actually read by Prime Universe Spock at the end of the movie.
At the end of the first movie?
Yep.
Okay.
So it starts, of course, Space, the Final Frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. This one does her ongoing mission, to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life forms, which is what he said in the other Spock version that he did in Khan, and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. So they kept that degendered one instead of man. So that was the next iteration change. Now, both of the other ones also had the speech in it. So both Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. The Kelvin Into Darkness was actually the same one that was in, 2009 Star Trek. This time read by Kirk instead of Spock. And then Star Trek Beyond followed the TNG script exactly, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Is that read by Chris Pine?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So finally, the last one was kind of a. Oh, what's that?
Sorry, was it Burnham?
It was not Burnham.
I was thinking it was Captain Daddy.
It was in fact Captain Daddy. Well, yes.
I feel like we haven't said Captain Daddy in a
That's
while.
right. He says it in the intro.
Yep, he says it in the intro. It is Strange New Worlds. So this is once again kind of a mashup of a couple different ones, because it kind of harkens back a little bit to the TOS version, where it has its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilizations. But it does keep the degendered 1 in it, so to boldly go where no 1 has gone before. So it's kind of just an updated version, really, of the TOS boldly go speech, and eventually they'll get to boldly go.
Yeah, when they gonna get to boldly go?
When are they gonna get to boldly go?
But yeah, so that's a little bit of the history. I didn't, as you guys kind of thought, I didn't realize it had gone through as many different versions of it as it had. So it was interesting to read the changes on that.
I knew personally from like watching the show and hearing the difference. I knew the difference between like no man and no 1, because I knew
Right.
Picard said no 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I have since listened to that, because actually in my notes for today, because Archer says no man. And I was like, oh, that's right, because TNG was ruined because of woke. Like... But like, because I remember Picard saying no 1, and yeah, now that you mention it, like I could definitely hear Captain Daddy and Chris Pine saying no 1. Yeah, but I didn't know about all those other smaller changes elsewhere in the speech.
Yep. So that is the history of that, and that wraps up the deep dive. When we come back, we'll get a little potpourri.
Welcome back, everybody. For Potpourri, I figured we would continue our long-standing tradition of having season trivia in the last episode of each season.
Woo-woo!
We got some season 4 trivia. Chris, you already ruined my first question. Would you rather go back and forth, or do you want to do first to the line?
I think I prefer the back and forth because it's a lot less pressure.
Yeah, also, like, you edit the episode, so I feel like you have a tiny advantage there.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, because not only do I watch the episode and then talk about it with you guys, I then listen to it again to edit it. And fun fact, I actually listen to it again just to listen to it because I'm a narcissistic ass. So, just in the shower, like, you know what? You know what? Pretty good podcast. It's a hot take. These motherfuckers are funny, especially that guy right there.
Oh, man.
Well, since Chris definitely already knows the answer to this first one, Stanford, you get to go first.
Sweet.
Damn it.
What is both the first and last planet visited by the crew?
Rigel 10. Rigel 10. It's Rigel 10.
Son of a bitch.
And they use spell 10 with an X.
They do. That's a weird thing that you know.
Well, I was on the memory alpha page looking up trivia about the episode, so.
Oh my god. All right, Christopher. What TNG actor made an appearance as the infamous geneticist Eric Sung?
Oh, Brett Spiner.
Yep. Stanford.
I know, it's funny. My name is hilarious.
You're never gonna get this.
Oh, fuck.
You're never gonna get this. What ancient Vulcan philosopher did Archer pick up in his brain?
Fuck. I hate questions like this. I'm so bad at names.
I hate.
Like, you had trouble with it while we were reviewing
I know!
the episode.
Let's see. It's not the Syrup Knights. Sirac.
Holy shit, he got it.
Fucking A.
That's a vodka.
It's the teachings of Sirach.
Or actually,
right?
I think it's a tequila. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it Sarah? Yes. Is it Sirach? Yeah.
Sirach.
Sorry, Sarek is somebody else.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
like
right, that's
Spock-
right, yeah.
That's like Spock's dad or some shit, right? Sarek.
Yeah.
Chris, what famous historical conflict did the crew of the Enterprise wind up traveling back to one last time, thanks to Daniels?
Traveling back to?
Like traveling to,
Okay.
back in time. Sorry, traveling back in time to one last time.
Yeah, what historical conflict did they go to?
I remember them traveling forward to a conflict.
Chris, like, if you don't get this, you're going to be so fucking mad.
I'm overthinking this. What am I
You are
doing?
way
Yeah.
overthinking it.
They are.
What am I
Can
missing?
I give him one hint?
No hints.
no,
it's
don't
too
give me-
easy.
No.
All
Nice,
right.
Rob.
Why am I overthinking this?
I didn't get any hints
know.
on Sarek.
And you've already said it wrong.
I heard, God damn it.
What am I missing here? What am I missing?
Go ahead, pass it. I'll take your point.
No, fuck you. I'm not done yet.
I'm not done yet.
I'm going to dive bomb in and steal this point.
All right. Fucking make me mad. Go ahead.
It's World War II.
Yep.
That was an alternate timeline. That counts?
What everything's an alternate timeline when you go back in time. You said, what historical
Yeah.
conflict did they go back to?
I guess. I wasn't even considering that.
Oh.
The only
Oh,
time
wait,
they
what
went back in
future one are you
time.
thinking of? Like when they went into the future? and they
Yeah,
were
to that,
fighting,
with the sphere people. The conflict with the sphere people.
yeah, with like the Enterprise W or whatever.
Right, with the Enterprise fucking spindly bitch. Yeah.
You were trying to think of the name of that particular conflict?
Yeah,
Because it's the
'cause I
same episode.
Yeah, I couldn't think of like when they went back and like, because like I'm thinking like historical, like things that
Oh, wait, no,
actually
it's-
happened, not like the time that blue aliens showed the fuck up in World War II.
But World War II actually happened.
I was about to say, didn't that actually happen? Did I miss something?
Sure, that part.
All right, Stanford.
Yep.
What Starfleet research facility housed Noonien Sung's augments?
Station. Shit, there's a number. Station 13?
Oh, Chris.
No, I don't fucking know.
Cold Station 12.
Cold
Oh, you're
Station
so
12.
close.
I knew it was a number.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Stanford.
No, Chris.
Or no, I'm sorry, Chris. What is the name of the inventor of the transporter?
Shit.
I'll take a first or last name. I don't know the.
or the Greek myth that he was supposed to be.
That was the Icarus one. Yeah, I remember doing the thing on that. The episode's dataless. God, I can't remember his fucking name.
Boy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bird?
I'm gonna start with Doctor
Safe choice.
You're not wrong.
Erickson.
How did he get that?
Holy fucking shit! I literally started with Doctor, and then it just came to me like in a vision.
Yeah.
Chris is gonna think we're
His full
cheating,
name-
Rob.
His full name is Emery Erickson.
Emery, that was his first name.
Like the board?
He filed down. He filed down his son. He filed down his offspring to just one.
Stanford. What was the name of the genocidal maniac featured in an episode of TOS that Paxton credits as influencing the Terra Prime movement?
Oh, Jesus.
Colonel Green.
I hate.
Yeah, I actually
Wow.
did
How do
know
you
that
know
one.
this?
I did know that one. I would have gotten that.
I
one.
Rob, I am just as surprised as you are. Holy fuck.
I'm like,
For mercy
Right?
rules here.
I remember him because he sounded like a Clue villain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
All right, Chris. In the Mirror Universe,
Oh no.
what historical figure do we see shotgun a peaceful Vulcan envoy?
Oh, it's Zephyr Cochrane.
Yep.
That was fun. I like that one.
That was good.
Stanford. What is the name of Enterprise's sister ship piloted by Captain Hernandez?
The
Or
Columbia,
Captain.
spelled like Columbus. Like the explorer, not like Columbia, the country. Columbia.
All right, you fucking show off, bitch. Chill out.
I was so mad about it, so it stuck out in my head.
Chris, what is the name of Archer's commanding officer who passes away while saving Saval from a terrorist?
Oh, it's Admiral Forrest.
Yep.
He was Captain Forrest. Oh wait, this is the Mirror
he was
Universe.
Captain
Never
in Mirror
mind.
Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely
That
Admiral.
was
Yeah,
Mirror
never mind.
Universe. Stanford, what is the name of the Andorian subspecies introduced this?
So it is spelled Anar, but they pronounce it Enar because they're weird.
That's true. They are weird. Chris, what famous scheming Star Trek villains are to blame for the attacks on Tellarite and Andorian shipping season?
Romulans.
If the word scheme is in the question,
That's
you
a dead
know where you are. Yeah.
Yep. All right. That wraps up the whole round here. It looks like Matthew, you win 7-4.
Matthew, ew.
Yeah.
Fucking nerd.
Sweet.
Oh, that's right. You guys missed one. Wait, what?
I said sweet.
Oh, I thought you said wait. All right.
Awesome.
Any last notes before we break for the evening?
Yes.
We are.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
We are planning on doing a series wrap up episode for our next episode. Were we going to also take a week off?
Yeah, we'll be taking a couple weeks off after that.
Yeah, timing wise, that works out. I'm going to Tennessee after next week.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so we're going to do a little series wrap, and then we're gonna have 2 weeks off is what we ended up at, based on maybe 2 or 3, and then we will be back with a special debut episode for Discovery. So,
Disco, Star Trek speeches.
oh my God, someone should write a speech for that episode.
Oh my fucking.
I feel like we should create a speech counter. I feel like every time somebody has
Just
like,
start a timer?
I've thought about that, and I'm like, am I going to be able to pay attention to what's going on enough to also keep track of a speech counter? Because like every time, man, that would be a good shtick though.
Speech bingo.
it would be.
Well, it's got to be like a jelly beans in the jar kind of thing. It's like how many speeches do you think the characters will give this season? Like total.
Ooh, that's a good one.
We would have to define parameters of a speach.
Yeah, I know. That was
What
the
if
tricky
you just
part.
keep a tally of who gave the speech?
That's harder somehow.
To have every character on an Excel sheet and just check.
Yeah. Do you know how much shit I have open when I'm watching these goddamn episodes? Chris abandoned his trivia halfway through the season.
It wasn't together in one nice tight space anymore, and I didn't want to go digging.
Well, apparently neither did they.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for trekking through this with us for the last 4 seasons of Enterprise.
Boo this man.
There it is.
It's been a long road.
Getting
from there to
here.
Yeah, we will be back next week with our Star Trek Enterprise wrap up.
Our time is finally near.
Thank you all so much. As Chris mentioned at the top of the pod, please remember to rate, review, like, subscribe, tell your friends, like us upon your other week.
Bye, everybody.
I've got faith.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.